What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Insights, the podcast built to help you with your recruitment and digital marketing. I'm joined this week by Steve Gipson. Steve, how are you feeling, buddy?
Good, Brandon. How are you?
Doing good, man. Buffalo is finally starting to heat up. The marathon prep is going very well. Family is doing very well. I think we've dodged the winter sick over here in Buffalo, and
really,
hopefully on the other side of that, knock on wood. Which means we're all apparently probably going to get sick right now because I said that out loud. But things are going really good, man.
Good. Yeah, it's we're dealing with a little of the seasonal changes and the sickness that comes with that. So
yeah, it's fun.
All the allergies and all the things. My son has just been hacking. So we were up late last night. So
I hear that loud and clear, my friend. Absolutely loud and clear. But hopefully we're on the other side of it soon here as things start to heat up and the seasons just kind of stick and we get summer mode over here in Buffalo, because I am dying for it, to be honest with you. Steve, you've been out traveling recently.
I have. No, I've been a couple of different places. It doesn't seem like it's been as busy from a conference season, but we got NAPS coming up in about a month. So there'll be a nice cap to the season. But yeah, I've been at Top Echelon Network. I spent some time with their folks down in Nashville. And then I was at Pinnacle Society in Vegas about a couple of weeks ago, spending time with them.
Oh, back-to-back Vegas.
Yeah, I know, right?
How about that?
I've never even been to Vegas once, and now I've been there twice in a month and a half. So
I'm going twice this year as well. Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not really a Vegas guy. It's not really for me. But we'll find out. And maybe it will be. Maybe I'll just adapt. Maybe this next time I'll just be the guy. Well, a really low cut V. Let some of that hair come out. Maybe just throw some dice.
Maybe, man. Like I said, I'll be there. I'm not really a Vegas guy either, but maybe the two of us there, we can find something to do. Who knows? You've so you've been at Top Echelon. You went to the Pinnacle Society. I want to get your thoughts on the biggest takeaway from those conferences.
Yeah. I wish there was something that I could pull from some of the speakers that was like this magic button that we all can press and have all the sales, right? I think the biggest thing that we could pull is that everyone's feeling a lot of the same things right now, which is it's not great, but it's maybe reassuring that you're not the only one that's having a tough time. I think that's important to know, because I think as recruiters, especially in staffing firms, if we're so busy on the day to day and we only are paying attention to what we see, and that's our reality, we feel like we're the only ones suffering or going through this. Or maybe you're doing great. Maybe you feel like you're the only one doing great as well. I mean, whatever the perspective may be, it's nice to know that there's common issues amongst recruiting and staffing firms right now. So I think that's was a big emphasis from everyone that I spoke to and all the different talks that I was able to be a part of. I was in every session there at the Pinnacle Society, and I think the biggest perspective I got on that as well is that and they're not a large group, right? So it's about 80 recruiters that are in that association. And they're some of the biggest billers in the industry from the direct hire recruiting side. I mean, these guys are single desk. Some of them have single desk worth $3 million like a year, right? That's what they do. They're machines, and they're successful. And to be able to even get accepted into that association, it's continual success. So it's year after year after year after year. And you have to reach certain metrics and all the things that come along with being a part of that group. So they're very good at what they do. But despite being what some would consider some of the best recruiters in the industry, they still have a level of curiosity and a level of wanting to get better each and every day. And then creating that network and relying on each other to be able to help encourage them to do that, and taking and drawing from each other. And not, even though a lot of them are competitors and even serve the same industries, they have that community that's there that allows them to all want to excel together and be elevated together. And I think that's really cool, because most firms and most people don't have that. They either have always just competition. They don't have people they can confide in. They're always looking for that next edge, but they're not necessarily looking at it from how can everyone progress together. And that to me is, if a firm can do that, if an owner can do that, if a recruiting, even just recruiters can find that kind of community, stay curious, find those that you can help sharpen you and you can help sharpen, and then let yourselves be able to grow together. I mean, to me, that was something that was a major takeaway in a down market where people are feeling kind of out, to have that and be able to use that to be able to grow themselves individually and grow their firm.
Do you think that curiosity and desire to grow and learn is what make them top billers year after year?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I do. I don't think you get there without knowing that you don't know everything and that you need to learn and know more.
Hey, it's Brad taking a short break to tell you about my friends over at Broad and Madison. If you're running a staffing firm and your tech stack feels more like a roadblock than a growth engine, Broad and Madison is your fix. With over 60 years of recruitment technology expertise, they streamline your systems, automate the boring stuff, and make your tech finally work for your team, not against it. They're not just another managed services provider, they're technologists first. With deep bullhorn know-how and real-world implementation experience, Broad and Madison doesn't just keep your systems running, make them smarter, faster, and more profitable. To learn more about my friends over at Broad and Madison and how they can help your staffing firm maximize its technology, visit broadandmadison.com. Again, that's broadandmadison.com. All right, let's get back to the show. That's always interesting to me, right? You've essentially hit the peak, or I guess the pinnacle of your profession, right? Story came out at the Masters. Rory wins his green jacket, and a story comes out that the week before he left his family to go to a golf lesson. And as he's walking out the door, his daughter Poppy says, "Dad, where are you going?" And he says, "I'm going to a golf lesson. I'll be back in a day or two." And she looked at him and she goes, "You know how to golf. What are you going to a golf lesson for?"
Right.
And it's so funny, right? She's young, right? So like she obviously doesn't get it. She's just like, "Why are you leaving? You know how to golf." It was so authentic probably in the space, but somebody that great still has a swing coach. The top quarterbacks still have throwing coaches. They have mechanics coaches. They have everything at their disposal, right? And it's like you get to this pinnacle of your profession and you still need the desire to get better, faster, stronger, stay curious, still develop, and even just make those small tweaks, right? You think about a quarterback who has a throwing or a mechanics coach, it's looking at film of just the small, minute details in your throw that can change everything. So it's interesting to me that then we take that to the business side of things, and people who are a part of the Pinnacle Society or any association, it usually is people who are already at some sort of elite status in their profession who want to get better, who know I've made it here, but I want to get to there. I'm satisfied and I'm happy, but this isn't the end of the destination of where I want to actually get to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, think about the hours it takes to be absolutely great at something, right?
10,000.
Right. So, and then that refining of that skill. So once you've reached, so say you're a great recruiter or you're great at what you do, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And now it's just a matter of fine tuning that to continually get better. You're not going to see the leaps and bounds that you once saw early on, in that progress that was made, but to be able to know and understand that there still are things that I'm doing that, because I just get, and personally, I get complacent. Let's say my sales desk, right? So, because I'm in a pretty heavy sales capacity here, of course, and so I can get comfortable in what I'm doing, but then all of a sudden, if I'm starting to see less success within the calls that I'm having, if I don't take the step back and kind of evaluate and see what I'm doing wrong, maybe I'm saying something, maybe I'm rushing the process. Maybe I feel like I know too much. And so I'm not asking the right question because I'm making those assumptions. If I don't take a step back and evaluate why I'm seeing those struggles or those problems, I can't find that opportunity to grow within that. And so, I think having that community within again, association like that, people to check you, people to give you that insight, allows you to be able to self-evaluate because you're seeing it from another other side of the table. I think it's something a lot of recruiters miss. Because even internally, if you're having those conversations with your internal team, it's still not the same as someone saying it from a completely different point of view than yourself. And so, it's such a vital piece of our business. And we see it at every conference we go to. That's why they go. I think people, the talks we all hear, even the stuff we're talking about now, I mean, the motivation of it, getting inspired, hearing the same tactics that, to me, I can take and leave all that. But the importance of being in a room with people that all have the same purpose of improving who they are, that to me almost is worth the conference fees and the hotel fees and the flights alone. And I think that was probably emphasized to me just in what I was looking at when at that Pinnacle Society.
It's a good thought. I mean, it's almost astonishing the number of people who go to a conference who don't go to breakfast or sit at the dinners or sit at lunches and just talk shop, right? And it's like you're there. That's probably the best thing that you can do, is just sit and just talk to people and see what they're doing and learn what others are doing. That always stands out to me, the people who show up late and kind of leave early. I love to just be a sponge at those events, right? I'm so grateful every time I get to go out and talk to new people. Yes, I like to speak and do my thing, right? And as the traveling circus, get on stage and share my ideas and share my insights. Yes, I love that. But maybe even more so, I love just sitting and hearing people talk about their business, their challenges, their pain points, because I think it fuels me. I always come back fired up and excited to have more calls and have more conversations with people, because you just hear more of it, right? And I agree, the complacency can weigh on you, right? And you need to stay sharp.
Yeah, it's my dad. So I worked with a recruiting desk for my dad for 7 years, and he'd always have this thing. It's a super tacky statement that he always said, because your dads are tacky, right? That's our job. As
you have
dads.
to be.
You have to be, right? You put your New Balance shoes on. You tuck in your polo.
I got a fresh pair of Air Monarchs downstairs.
Do you? Nice. There you go. Yeah. You talk about your yard a little bit, the weather, the things that are important to you. And then you get into, the cliches of business, which we all could pick up a sales book and read those. But his favorite thing, I don't know where he picked it up, what sales trainer or whatever it was, someone from the 80s, I don't know, whoever it was. But his favorite thing was, if I came to a work day and I was trying to tell him what I thought I knew about this call or this client, he would say, Steve, spare me your brilliance. That was his favorite line. Just spare it. Don't act like you know anything. Don't act like you know what you're doing when you come to this. Just come into it completely curious and humble enough that you're ready to be able to learn from that client that's going to teach you what they need, from that candidate, what they're looking for within their career. And the same thing, we deal with this all the time with our clients. So think about this. We have clients come to me all the time, right? Steve, I got a sales problem. I'm having a hard time. We want to be able to improve what we're doing. They have these preconceived ideas of what it is that they think they know about marketing, what they think they know about websites. And those that come to me, and I can tell a difference in those that are wanting to learn from me and take my insights and trust my professional opinion of doing this for over 10 plus years, over 15 plus years within the industry. And those that come to me with it, that they already know the answers to the question they're asking, and they're just looking for me to validate that for them, so that they can feel good about their knowledge and preconceived ideas of what they have within the world of marketing and sales and websites and how it affects their business. And the ones that have that kind of preconceived ideas, they're the ones that walk away continuing to do the same thing that they've always done. And those that are really actually wanting to learn, they'll take things that we talk about, they'll implement them, they'll use them, and they'll grow their business from that. So the same thing's happening from your side of the desk as a recruiter or from a staffing firm. If you're coming into those conversations with things that you think you already know, you're just trying to validate what you already know, and you walk away with an unsuccessful call because, well, I knew it was going to be unsuccessful because of this, this, and this, versus approach it in a way of, oh, I didn't know that about you. Tell me more about why that's a problem for you. And then you being able to say, well, here's the issue. Here's how we can solve this by having this person in that seat to be able to help your organization grow and develop. And, that kind of dialogue and that kind of mindset of the need for that curiosity and the need to always learn and develop, it can really creep into our processes and the opportunities for us to be able to generate more business and have more successful relationships.
I had Dan Fisher from Menemsha Group on Take the Stage a couple episodes ago, and we talked about the psychology of the cold call. I saw him speak at the Massachusetts Staffing Association, their annual conference, about cold calling and just the art of the cold call. So I brought him on the show. And one thing that really stuck with me from that call is we're constantly trying to get as much as we can out because we know someone's going to hang up on us. So we instantly jump into, or we sort of fall back to, here's who I am, here's what I can do for you, here's how I can help, me. And we start firing into that right away because we know we have 4 seconds before someone tells us to get lost. What Dan articulated and what you're articulating really well is the call's not about you. Right? If you're cold calling somebody, you're calling a prospect, you're calling even a current client, they don't care about you. right? They have a need, they have a challenge, they have a pain point, they have a day-to-day that they're trying to work through. How you can assist with that matters to them. But at the end of the day, they don't really care about you, your service, what it is that you do. They care about their challenges and how you're going to solve them. Right. And when you come into a call and you say, you flip that dialogue, it changes everything, because every prospect is expecting to just be sold to on a cold call. And it disarms them. And when they're disarmed, then you have the opportunity to actually have a conversation. I love the thought as you're articulating of, would you say, spare me your, how did you phrase it?
Spare me your brilliance.
Yeah, that's the whole thought process of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Right? I love that whole mentality. So shout out to your dad for teaching that, so you can teach it to me, because I appreciate that. Yeah.
It was probably yelled at me quite a bit. So if I go into like a fetal position in a flashback at the moment,
you got it tattooed on your shoulder now.
Yeah. It's branded on my back. Yeah.
Right. I think it's all good stuff, right? And I think it's all interesting elements that we need to hear repeatedly. You had made a comment about how when you go to a conference, a lot of times it's the same message over and over and over again. The challenge with that, though, is, and I see this myself, I could get on stage and I could give the same talk at the same conference 5 years in a row. I could, at NAPS this year, I'm talking about what the best recruiters do differently. I could get on stage in 2026 and share the same, if not just a small variation of that message, because I know the 200, 300 people in the room aren't going to do all of it, right? Oh, yeah. They're going to either gloss over, they're going to forget about it, whatever it is, and they're going to get on with their lives. We go to those events because we need that consistent motivation. We need that consistent turning of the wheels. We need that consistent sort of, it's the Rory McIlroy story, right? Guy knows how to golf. Right? He doesn't need to go to a golf lesson, but he does, because he knows that small lesson is going to trigger something that's going to make him better. And that's why we go to those conferences. That's why we go to those events. I wish more people in the industry would. Right? I think maybe you're seeing this, but a couple of the conferences that I've been to lately, I feel like attendance is down year over year. Way down. I've only gone to one so far this year. I have a lot coming up here in the second half of the year. But even last year, looking at 2024 to 23, down. And it's interesting because the industry is struggling. So you would think if we're struggling, we would want to go to more of those events to get better. But the opposite is happening, right? The money's not coming in, so we can't afford to go to those conferences, is, I guess, the thought process.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's part of what we're kind of talking about, is because everyone's expecting that one talk, that one speaker to give them that magic recipe for success. Yeah. They're not thinking about it, and we're not, maybe the conferences aren't setting the expectation of, this is more about building community and networking with peers and be able to talk about and sharpen what's happening for them, so you guys can go through this together and everybody get better together. They're promoting it as, we have so-and-so speaker, Brad Bialy, coming in. Brad's going to talk about...
Did you see him on the NAPS graphic?
No, I didn't see that. No.
me, Barb Bruno, and Greg Dorshing are the face of the conference.
That's a good-looking bunch.
It's a good-looking group, man. It's a good-looking group.
So, and again, I can gather things from you, but your talk, even if you spent 100 hours on it and you have the most brilliant mind that's ever come to staffing, ultimately, it's not going to be the thing that changes probably my desk, right? There may be, like you said, a nugget I take away from that.
That's all I want.
But if the emphasis could be on the community within the industry, and that's really what was promoted, and maybe they are, I'm just not aware of it. Yeah. Maybe more people would want to come and be a part of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, it's Brad taking a short break to tell you about an offer exclusive to listeners of Take the Stage. 30 minutes of strategic marketing consultation with me, completely free. Hey, whether you're looking to drive more sales or more job applications, I want to help. Visit bit.ly/stage offer. Pick a time that works best for you. That's it. Again, whether you want to drive more applications or more job orders, I want to help. That's bit.ly/stage offer. All right, let's get back to the show. I want to transition to one more topic here, just to be mindful of our time on the show here and give our guests one more thing that's kind of been on my mind a little bit. Not that I want to hear more about your conferences and whatnot, but I want to talk about Google reviews, Steve. And this is something that we have talked about on Insights extensively. Matt Lozar and I, when he was here and he was running the show, we must have talked about this 4 or 5 times. I know specifically of episodes where we talked about Google reviews, but it's one of those areas in marketing where I'm hearing about it more frequently and I'm seeing it more frequently. So it's on my mind and I want to talk about it. So when we think about Google reviews, Steve, I think the industry is still continuously drastically undervaluing and underappreciating Google reviews. In my mind, Google reviews are the first impression of any business. If somebody is going to look up who you are, they're going to look up your services, they know you by name. I would say 99 times out of 100, they're going to Google your name and see what happens. Right. And now, yes, the website, social media, other elements matter. But I think the first impression of your business are Google reviews. And Steve, the challenge there with the staffing and recruiting industry is we lend ourselves to be more negative than positive. If you're hiring and you have one available job opening, 100 people apply, you now ticked off 99 people because you only hired one person. It's just a byproduct of how we operate, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's not that you did anything wrong. You only had one role to fill though. Right. So now you have 99 people who have their Twitter fingers out or their, review fingers out, and they're all upset because you're a lousy staffing firm who didn't place them and do whatever. And that's upsetting. It's frustrating because we are really, really good companies who do really good things, but just a byproduct of the outcome. Steve, to get us there, I want to get your thoughts on if you're seeing the same thing. Is there a growing need for Google reviews and having that positive first impression?
Yeah, I mean, I think there always is, reputation management, being able to make sure you're making a good first impression in every aspect of what we do, right? It's always a need for that. The advantage Google reviews bring are some SEO advantages as well, which, not a lot of things do that and can help in a lot of ways. So, more Google reviews, that's weighted into the algorithms. So, that's advantageous there for sure. But yeah, I think it's important to build that up, continually reach out to your clients, your candidates, give them a reason or give them an opportunity, invite them to be able to leave a review and give them a reason to leave a review. Like you said with the candidates, 100 candidates or 99 are upset and one's excited. And we don't feel like that there's an opportunity for those other 99 to leave us a review, or we don't want them to because they're going to be upset. I mean, if you have a candidate nurturing platform, if you are engaging that candidate, there's going to be a reason to. And frankly, you don't have to do a whole lot to stand out in that regard because so many firms don't do anything with that. I agree.
And that's why I made the point I said. I think in the majority of the industry forgets about the 99. Yeah. And I truly think there is an opportunity to be different because those are still great individuals. They didn't get this opportunity because you had an A player come to the forefront of the stack of resumes. That doesn't mean that, okay, maybe there's 2 or 3 people on there where you're hiring a nurse and they're a welder. Okay, like that doesn't work. I get it. Still 97 other people who are great candidates for somewhere else. You should be actively working with them and they should want to leave a review because you're their career coach. You're in their corner. You're working with them day in and day out to find the right opportunity. How great would it be if we were flooded with reviews from people who never even got a job with us? Yeah. Yet they're just excited because of the process and how you treat them. That would be completely game changing. If you're thinking about how can I get more people in Buffalo, New York to work with my staffing firm, 100 reviews of people who you haven't actually placed yet, who just love being a part of your organization, who are working with you because they know you're going to find them a job. Who wouldn't want to work with that company? Right.
Yeah. And it's not, it's not easy to do because you've got to think of then a whole process, automations, ways that you could engage those candidates, even though that candidate's probably not a fit for anything that you have. And, may not be a fit for anything you have in the future, but if they felt heard and they felt that someone cared about the situation, and then they're not going to go leave the review on their own. Then you invite them to leave you a review based on that dialogue you have with them or that interaction you created with your organization and through your marketing efforts. It will, like you said, it will resonate. I think even thinking about beyond Google reviews, what are the other platforms, right, that are there, right? So you have LinkedIn recommendations. You have your Facebook page. You can have reviews there.
Facebook reviews.
You can have Yelp.
Do you think Glassdoor still matters?
I think to hiring organizations, it does.
I think it does too.
Anybody, I think, is going to go and do research if you're looking to be. So, this is where maybe it's managing your clients' Google reviews. Maybe this is a service staffing firms could offer. Hey, I did a check of all your reviews and I'm going to go out and do the search for you. I'm trying to find this person. But guess what, man? You guys' reviews are terrible on Glassdoor, on Yelp, on Google and Facebook, all these places. Here's what we can do to help you be able to reach candidates and boost those reviews. Those ratings, right? You could do like a little marketing. You could sell the things that you know how to do for your own firm and show them, hey, this is where I've been very successful here. Here's a new product for me to be able to help promote your company. I want to be able to help you put in this reputation management campaign to be successful for your firm.
I love that idea. Do you want to land more clients and close more deals in 2025? Haley Marketing is offering big savings to help staffing firms like yours grow. Get $1,000 off targeted marketing campaigns, free tools to track your hottest leads, and no setup fees on services that help your company get found online. Plus, we'll even help you stay in touch with prospects for free. But you need to act fast. These deals end June 30th. You can visit bit.ly/Bialy offer to find out more information. Again, that's bit.ly/Bialy offer for more information. All right, let's get back to the show. I mean, think about how lousy it is if you actually find an A-player candidate and then when you tell them where they're going, they say no because they looked up the reviews of, I don't know, General Mills in Buffalo, New York, which is a great place, but General Mills is like, I'm not going there. Yeah. Right? Look at these reviews. Look what they're saying about this place. I'm not going there. But if you were then actively working with that company, it's a great idea, Steve.
Yeah, there could be something there with that. At the very least, companies should address it. And this is, I know we're a little off topic with this, but staffing firms should do that research on that company and that employer. Yeah. And then give that employer a chance to be able to explain to you the situations and things that are going on with that so you can better represent them in the market. I had a client tell me that we should have Yelp. We don't really have Yelp reviews. I don't know if you guys do at Haley. I don't know. I will say in the 12 years I've been here, I don't know of any Yelp reviews. I'm sure we have one or two, right? But I don't use Yelp, so I wouldn't actively think to look at Haley Marketing's Yelp reviews personally. But I think there's value there in that comment too, is you don't know where your talent or you don't know where your prospects are going to research you. So let's say a top candidate is looking for you and you have a 1 star on Glassdoor, they're gone. If that's the value, if that's the platform that they value, they're out the door. So we can't sort of have this siloed, we have 1,000 reviews on Google, but our reputation is awful everywhere else. We need to be mindful of the collective presence that we have and the collective image that we have. Yeah. I mean, everybody should probably do their own audit of their own reviews and see where they currently rank. You may not like some of the things you see, and they're probably going to make you mad. Yeah. Because again, it's going to be that candidate that you don't even know who John Smith is, and he's laying into you for never calling them back. But I'd probably recommend every staffing firm to go through, Google their name, look on LinkedIn, look for recommendations, look at all their review places and resources, and see kind of just what the general feel is. And then from there, you can kind of determine and think about, well, how do I get the most out of this? How do I make this better? Or how do I make this exist at all? Because a lot of people are going to say, oh, there's nothing. I don't have anything on any of these review platforms. I don't want to get super long-winded on it, but I think the entire industry needs to self-audit and self-reflect on every area of the business. How are you selling? How are you recruiting? Do you have the reviews? How are you integrating sales and marketing? How are you integrating recruiting and marketing? Are you truly on a 5-year plan, or are you sort of just going through the motions? Are you doing what worked? And the title of the show, when I was with Dan Fisher, are you still selling like it's 1985? Because that's not going to work anymore. And neither is recruiting. And it's interesting, man. I do think that we're at a crossroads in the industry. As AI ramps up, as selling ramps up and gets harder, I've heard it takes 3 times the effort for half the results. As all of this sort of continues to progress, are you built for success in 2026? Or are you sort of just wading through the waters and putting off the inevitable? For sake of this segment, yes, audit your reviews. But I think the entire collective industry could truly benefit from walling off for a week and just doing some self-reflection and saying, listen, here's where we're at. Some things aren't bad, some things are. But if we want to get to here in 2026 or 2030, we got to make some changes. Or we got to keep things the same. But I can't say that enough. I think it is very, very critical that a lot of companies do that sooner. Man, we're still worried about 2025. You're over here talking about 2026 and 2030. You're gonna give everybody anxiety,
dude. I know. I know. I know. I hear you loud and clear. But yeah, man, it's interesting. I wish nothing but the best for the industry. But I'm on a lot of calls every week, and the title that I titled that show with Dan, it spoke to me, man. There's a lot of companies that are still selling like it's 1985. And there's a lot of good people in the industry who are still doing really well because of it. And there's a lot who could benefit from switching some things up.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else you got for us before we get out of here?
No, I think all good stuff.
All right, that's our show. And thank you for listening to another episode of Insights. If you found this episode valuable, we would love to know. You can message Steve or Brad on LinkedIn and share your thoughts. If you have a question for us, you could tweet us at Haley Marketing or email info@haleymarketing.com. And of course, if you need a hand with your recruitment or digital marketing efforts, we'd love to know. You can message info@haleymarketing.com and be sure you tell them that Insights sent you. For Steve Gipson, I'm Brad Bialy. We'll see you next time.